The gentleman yields back for what purposes is the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Escobar, seek recognition.
Mr. Chairman, I move to strike the last word.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity to once again talk about the scourge of domestic violence and domestic terrorism, and to take action. I am really stunned to listen to our colleagues on the other side of the aisle who are either delusional or willfully blind when it comes to what has become a cancer in our country. The cancer of domestic terrorism, white supremacy, the rise of racism and hate. And I'd like to express my gratitude to you, Mr. Chairman, and to my colleague, Representative Jackson Lee, for mentioning what happened to my community on August 3rd of 2019, when a white supremacist, a domestic terrorist, walked into a Walmart on a busy, beautiful Saturday morning and walked in with his AK-47 and shot indiscriminately into the crowd. Just yesterday, I was on the House floor speaking on a bill to honor the 23 people who were killed and the 22 who were injured in that domestic terrorism attack. And it is incredible to me that this cannot be a bipartisan unifier. We have talked about in this committee guns. And I will tell you, my community was at the intersection on that day of August 3rd, the intersection of our country's addiction to guns and our country's this cancer of hate and racism. You know, we have to come to terms with the fact that there is a radicalization of millions of Americans that is happening every single day. There are media outlets that are vehicles for that radicalization. There are members of Congress who are vehicles for that radicalization. And there are people all across this country who are vehicles for that radicalization. And we are not seeing less violence as that radicalization advances. We are not seeing less violence as easy access to guns happens. We are seeing more. And so we've got to take action. This bill is an important step. It is a common sense step in the direction of finally creating safer communities. We've seen what our Republican colleagues want to do. They want to ignore the rise of domestic terrorism, and they want to make guns more easily accessible. That's a toxic, deadly cocktail. It's a failure of policy, and communities like mine have unfortunately paid the price. It's time to stop these tragedies. It's time to acknowledge the truth that is in front of us. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I support this legislation and I look forward to advancing it. I yield back.